So I wanted to bring up a few things that are starting to pop up: short sales and pre-foreclosures, um, which ultimately become foreclosures. And one of the things I wanted to bring up specifically is some definitions. Short sale is generally selling for more than what you owe. It's pretty simple. You got a $1 million sales price, but you got a $1.1 million mortgage. Okay. So let's just explaining that. This is PennyMac. This PennyMac is one of the largest processors or servicing companies. And if you go short sale, most likely you're not going to go back to the bank where you got your mortgage. You're going to go to your servicer. So I just wanted to give you their 5 points of what this means. The short sale is similar to a traditional home sale. It's the pre-sale. PennyMac and the owner or insurer of your loan approve a listing price. So whenever you see a property that's in the MLS and it says short sale, the first question to the listing agent is, has the bank approved this price? Sometimes the bank will say, well, put it on the market to what you think it is, and let's see what happens. They haven't approved the price. Other times they may not approve the price, but they will want a broker price opinion, meaning they want you to put together a CMA. So you'll send that to them to see where that price is. They don't want to give up money prematurely. So they want to know what's the value you think you have. Other times they may have some agents online that they're using to do price approvals, broker price approvals. I remember when I was buying my current home, Corinne and I were buying it as a short sale, and we were under contract at 425, which is what the last contract was. And suddenly the bank came back and said 509. So I had to do a whole big presentation for them. And I looked at the agent that they got their foreclosure information from or their price opinion from. The agent wasn't selling. Not that someone can't do the number crunching on that, but she was with a discount brokerage and was making, 50 to 60 bucks a pop for these broker price opinions, but she had no connection to the market. And in essence, I got my price at 425. So we got them to come down what? 75, almost $85,000. Hey guys, if y'all can mute yourselves, I'd appreciate it. Yeah. Listing, you list your property, Willis Real, so they are expecting you to list with a broker. So that's kind of understood there. When you receive an offer, you and your agent submit required paperwork to them, and we work with the owner or insurer of your loan for necessary approvals or counter offers. Once the sale closes, PennyMac releases you from all responsibilities for repaying any remaining balance on your mortgage. And PennyMac, this is specific. Number 5 is specific to PennyMac, that possibly you might get another some moving cost assistance. Now, with that said, and they don't have this information in there, the seller must provide permission for the listing agent to talk with the lender, and this needs to be done early. So if you can, even before you're on the market, you want to be in connection with the lender, the servicer. And so that would involve probably a 3-way phone call, them, the seller, and you. And then they're going to have an affidavit that they want you to sign saying you won't say anything to anybody about stuff like that, about what they've learned there. But you need to be involved in that process. But by them giving you permission, you can call without them having to have them on the line. Obviously, it's going to elongate the closing process, and all parties must agree. So you do want to have the short sale addendum involved. There's an addendum for short sales on that. I don't think I have this on the next slide, but yeah. Okay. Keep in mind, at the end of the short sale, they will get a 1099 from the bank that they have received a benefit of whatever that short is. So if they're selling for 1.1 million or 1 million and their short sale is 1.1, and the bank eats up that 100,000, they will get a 1099 for 100,000 or 50,000 or whatever the number is. And they'll be responsible for taxes on that. I'm not sure if it's in the year that they sell it, but keep that in mind that there will be some financial repercussions on this besides them just short selling. They may have tax obligation. During 2007 to 2012, I believe, or 13, the federal government waived that. But that sunsetting was around 2012 or 2013. And so after that, the 1099-C came back into being. We get 1099s for our real estate sales, but we don't get a 1099-C. It comes in the mail and it's in red print to signify when they file their taxes that this was a credit given to the seller. And so the IRS looks at it as an income. So they need to be aware of that. Now, this one I'm about to show you here is moving into pre-foreclosure, pre-short sale. Many times people are going into a short sale and they are already in financial distress. They're missing payments or something like that, and they'll get a forbearance. And I just wanted to touch base on what a forbearance does to them as the owner and what that means. It temporarily postpones the loan payments. So let's say they're making payments of $2,500 a month. They call the bank. I've lost my job, whatever. We may be hearing more of this because of what happened on Capitol Hill last year. And the bank says, that's okay. We can do a forbearance. It says offering relief to borrowers in financial distress. It does do that in that you're not making the payment anymore. But what they don't tell you is that we will tag it on the back end of the mortgage. That's correct. But they will also start adding on penalties. And that many times is not clear to the seller. They think they're just missing a payment this month and they'll make it up at the end of the mortgage. Well, you're getting penalties on that. And some processors or servicers will also report you to the credit agency because you haven't made that payment. So if a seller is looking at doing a forbearance, make sure that they totally understand what this might mean for them financially. Mortgage lenders may offer forbearance to prevent foreclosure. And then 3, they're negotiated, may vary in terms from full payment, suspension to reduced interest payments. Borrowers must demonstrate financial hardship. So that's the biggest thing. You know, I lost my job. I've got a major illness. I can't keep up with my debts. And then it provides, unlike a loan forgiveness, which permanently cancels that debt. So the forbearance, many times, is what can push people into foreclosure. And if you're racing down the pike to try to not go into foreclosure, that seller is now racing with, I'm trying to sell my property. I've got this forbearance. But when they get their payoff, it's not the payoff that the title company may have gotten to start with. It may be a lot more. You could have a situation where once they did the forbearance, they've now not made payments for 3 months while they've been getting the house already on the market. And so when you went to the title company and said, hey, what's the payoff? The title company is going to do another payoff inquiry right before closing. And if the seller has missed a couple of more payments, that's going to change. So this is a warning to sellers that if you're going in forbearance, you're racing foreclosure down, you have to keep up with how much you're missing payments on because that's going to be tagged on to your payoff. All right. Any questions on this? None? Great. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Great. So no one's not hearing me and I'm just talking in the wind. Good deal. All right.
We hear you.
All right. Now let's move into office exclusives.
Anthony, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Since you were bringing up the short sales and foreclosures, I personally don't see it. Again, I'm only licensed in Virginia and mainly service Fairfax County. Where are you seeing short sales and foreclosures come up?
They're starting to creep up. And it's a mixture this time because we have some folks that, two things going on. Short sale, I haven't missed any payments. I'm fine. I just took so much money out of it, and now I can't get what I want. I'm
I
short
bought it not
selling.
long ago and now I need to sell it and it's
Yeah.
not as great.
Yeah, we have a short sale right now that we're working on.
Mhm.
And the seller says they didn't realize they were short.
Mhm.
And now the buyer's like having to agree to a short sale. The bank's now being pulled in and that type of thing. Now, that just tells me most likely these folks, I don't think they lost their jobs. There's some sort of personal matter going on. They did not, um, they did miss a couple of payments because they told the bank we're having a hard time here.
Mhm.
And so the difference in the short sale and the foreclosure is the short sale, there's no equity. Okay. There's no equity in the house. And the bank's now having to bring money to the table to make it happen. The bank will look at, well, before we put our money in, do you have any money anywhere? Do you have another home? Do you have savings? Do you have 401k? Where can we get money from you to have you come here? That's not short sale, that's upside down. A short sale is a bona fide classification that the bank is receiving that loan for short and will make up the difference at the closing table. The foreclosure, we are hearing of more of those. And we're not talking like it's up 1,000% or anything, but we're just, the narrative is out there. And that is coming from some folks that lost their jobs last year
Mhm.
and they couldn't get reemployed. And they're foreclosing not because they don't have enough equity, but because they're not making payments. And those are the ones that may be rushing to the table or they're racing the foreclosure department to try to get it sold before the foreclosure date comes upon them.
Let me see.
Okay. So that is what we're starting to see. There is and at the end here, I'll go in and do a search, but there's a classification you can look up. You may not be aware of when you're looking for properties is what kind of sale is this? Usually that block is never checked. And so everything comes up, but you can search for a short sale, notice of defaults, foreclosure, and you can see that there are a few of those popping in there now in our area more than we've had in the past 10 years or so. So that's what's going on. So I wanted to let everyone know, primarily for you to have knowledge of, oh, you're short selling, then you know, hey, this is what I have to do. We have to get on let's get a listing agreement. We got to get on a 3-way call with your lender. The lender's got to give me permission to be able to talk to them. And they have paperwork that has to be filled out. Foreclosure, it's the bank. If they're facing foreclosure, the bank's already moving toward foreclosing. They've missed payments. They may want to look at forbearance if they haven't done that. And some homeowners don't even know what a forbearance is. They didn't know they could do that. And so that's why I'm bringing it up now. I don't see us having a huge surge toward that way, but I'm not sure the doging experience is over yet. And if it's not, we are having narratives from people saying, yeah, they're moving to, Tennessee or North Carolina or back home to be close to mom and dad because they can't get the jobs they had before and they've missed some payments. So that's what we're hearing. It's not because of bank issue. Like the last time we had a short sale crisis in this country, it was a banking issue. It wasn't really an employment issue, but people just couldn't sell their houses for the price that they bought them for. Any other questions on that? Good one, though. I'm just kind of giving a pre-warning to everybody. All right, office exclusives. We had a big meeting on Wednesday about all this. And so what I want to talk about now is the actual administrative work that you need to do when you're taking an office exclusive. And first of all, let's talk about what it is. It's an agreement in place listed with KW United. It's uploaded to the MLS as an OE, an office exclusive. It's not searchable to the public realtors. Brokers get an email. I get an email every morning, and it's got the office exclusive list for my offices. I think right now we got 3. And And then per seller's instruction, the OE listings may be promoted through the brokerage and your personal network. And that's what we're going to get into in a second. Email, socials, websites. And now the new website that we'll be able to promote this on will be Zillow. And that's going to be released in the coming weeks. And you can sell it and show it while it's in office exclusive. Okay. So those are the headlines. Now, here's the boring administrative stuff. If you take an office exclusive, if you don't sell it and the seller says, okay, I want to go on the market, you may bring it in as a coming soon. And so you've gone to Bright MLS. Bright MLS listing portal says, is this an office exclusive? You say yes. You get a different view as you're putting that in there. Then when you go in to make it active or to coming soon, you go back to your listing editor and they says, okay, I want to make this coming soon now. And now it's going to switch it to the open market on Bright. And so now you're coming soon, still has the requirements of, or the calculating of how many days on market and price changes and all that. Before that, as an office exclusive, it's not been counting days on market in Bright. Okay. And then you go to active. Now, this is a question I keep getting. Well, what if they change their mind? Yeah, Anya and Scott, y'all go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, just to clarify for everybody on, if you're an office exclusive and you show the property, you still can go to coming soon.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, so that's what I was going to say, that back in the day before office exclusive was allowed, if you showed it to anybody, you could not put the listing in coming soon. You had to go directly to active. So it's just, it makes us so confusing when
Right.
you're now allowed to do these office exclusive and show it to whomever you want. Now and it's fine. I mean, it's fine with me. It's just Bright MLS keeps changing these rules that it just
Right.
makes things confusing. And a lot of agents are breaking these rules because just they don't know it and they just keep flip-flopping, and it's causing a lot of confusion.
Yeah.
And I find it really irritating.
Yeah, sure. Well, and let me tell you what I've done. I have not gone to Chat GPT. I have not gone to
Are you feeling
all the
okay?
other AI. I actually talked with Bright
No, are you
MLS.
okay?
Yeah.
I actually went to Bright MLS, and this, let me tell you how long I've been saying this, and I hope maybe I need to say it louder and more boldly. Since September 2024, this is the answer I've been saying, okay? Because that's when I got the information from Bright. Your office network and your broker network, wide open. You can do that with anybody. Anyone can be shown the property through your office network and your broker and your personal network. Other agents, contractors, investors, they all can be shown the property during that time period. You're correct in saying the early rules were once I showed it, it had to go active. That's where Bright backed away and changed it. Trust me, Scott and I and Sheila Quadros have poured over these rules, and when they kept changing them, we'd call them. Did you just change this? Yeah,
Yeah.
we changed it. And
Well,
they
but-
just, yeah.
But what's frustrating, Anthony, and it has nothing to do with you. I know that those are the rules and they keep changing,
Yeah.
whether we like it or not. What's frustrating is I come across agents that put their listings in coming soons and they're showing them
Oh, yeah.
and they're not making it public, or they do actually say, hey, if you want to show it, call me.
Right.
And that's what I find it frustrating because I'm a rule follower. So once it's
Yeah.
in coming soon, I tell everybody, meaning my buyers, like or sellers, no showings.
Right.
And then, listings that are in coming soon go under contract. And then it was like, well, why didn't we see it? So that's what I'm frustrated because again, it
That's
should
true.
be
Maybe,
shown and it's being shown.
Yeah, and before we get done here, I'll go to any listing that I can find that's coming soon and show you how you can report that. And guys, I know we don't like being the tattletale, but we are a self-policing entity. The realtor community is self-policing. Here's why I like it. If we don't self-police, the government will police it. All right. And by self-policing, we get the bad players out we get the uninformed people educated, and we get everyone to follow the rules. Hopefully. It's not
So-
always going to be that way. But I had
Anthony-
someone say, would you like to show it, Anthony? I said, well, you're coming soon. Well, yeah, you can show it. I said, no, you're not supposed to show it. And he
So
got a
I guess-
report from me. Yeah.
Well, that's my question. Is the listing agent in trouble when they're showing and coming soon, or both listing and buyer agents that are showing and those coming soon properties to their buyers are in trouble?
I think it's the listing agent because if you look at the rules,
Well, I
It's
heard
all
potentially
about-
both were violating the rules.
can
And
see
again,
it.
how do you report them? And
Yeah.
again, I'm not about reporting people, don't
Yeah.
get me wrong, but it does get to the point I was like, well, if I knew, like,
yeah,
I would have
That's the
showed it to
thing.
my clients. I want to
I
have the
know.
opportunity early too.
I got this bad egg over here letting
mean-
agents in front of my buyers. One of them.
I would say it's going to be both for this reason.
Yeah.
If it's in coming soon in the MLS, if you try to show it in showing time, you go into showing time, everything is blocked off until the expected on market date.
Mhm.
So for a buyer agent to show that house, they know that it's coming soon and it shouldn't be shown. There's
Yeah,
no
but a lot of
accident.
agents put it on the combo box and they don't even do showing,
Right. That's
showing
true.
time,
Right.
sadly.
And that's when you hear about it, when you see something, say something. And that's where you just
Well,
gotta
and to
be willing
Anya's
to go in
point,
and say, I'm reporting them. I know they're doing this. And then let Bright deal with it.
the frustrating thing is when you're representing a buyer
Mhm.
and they see a property it's coming soon, you tell, as you said, Anya, you can't, well, we can't show it, and then it immediately goes under contract, and you almost know to a
Well,
certain.
yeah, I
it
mean,
was-
there's no guessing,
Yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, so if the buyer's agent who's showing coming soon doesn't have any consequences, I swear to Almighty, seriously, I'm going to start calling the listing agent and say, hey, can I see it?
Yeah.
If there is no consequences to the buyer's agent, then what do I care if they get slapped in the hand?
True. And I would just submit this. Remember, in office exclusive or in coming soon, contracts can be written. Okay.
Yeah, but in
And I
coming
think
soon, it
what's-
will have to
yeah.
be sight unseen, or
Yeah, I
they
know.
previously show an office exclusive, maybe.
It's sight unseen. You're gonna have to write a really good contract, but I would definitely include an out there with some sort of home inspection. Or once I get inside, I can make a decision.
Yeah.
But then once they've
24
done that,
hours or
it comes
something.
just one last note, and then we need to move along. But
Mm.
if it's incoming soon and it's gone under contract, once it comes back out, it has to go active. It can't.
Can't go back, revert to coming
you
soon.
can't
Yeah,
go
I get
back.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
All
quick
right.
question.
Yeah.
With the exclusive, the office exclusive, so we can show office exclusives, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And you can show brand X as office exclusive. You just got to line up the appointment to do that.
10-4. Awesome.
All right. So now I want to get into the
And Anthony, just-
paperwork. Yeah,
you
go
and I
ahead.
know this, but just to make, so to this question about another brokerage has a listing, it's office exclusive, and you find out about it somehow, and you ask for a showing, that at least how the Bright rules are written, they cannot deny you the right to show that property because the rules say you have to treat all subscribing members equally.
Right.
So if somebody says, oh, no, it's only for our brokerage, tell them BS on that. And then if
Yeah.
they won't let you show it, then that's what that little bullseye button's for.
Sure. Now,
So, Anthony,
real quick.
Are you,
Yeah.
are you able to reach out to Bright MLS and ask him clearly, is the agent in coming soon status, is the agent that's showing the property, if the listing agent permits during coming soon, are both agents
Yeah.
have
find out.
consequences or only one? Like, it would be just good to know. And if not,
Yeah.
let it.
And just as we're having this discussion, I'm seeing where, I think probably they should be in trouble because what are they doing? They're colluding. All right. So real quick.
Anthony,
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
sorry to keep interrupting. I have a client right now. We have had at least 4 listings that we've set up coming soon. We've set up appointments once it becomes available. It's going to be available the 15th. We set up an appointment 15th. On the 10th it sells. So are those office exclusives, do you think, or are they going around it?
If
So
it's
that's one-
saying that it's coming soon, then
Right.
they're violating these rules. And
All right.
that's where you report.
Okay.
Unless in a coming soon, someone wrote a sight unseen offer. And I think this is where the office exclusive in this partnership with Zillow will give us more tools. And I'm not going to get into, getting into business with Zillow and all that. I'm not going to get into that. I'm just going to say, hey, look, what if it wasn't Zillow? What if it was a brand new site that did this? Okay, fine. We got a place where we can put our office exclusives and they don't break any laws. And now my seller sees that. And so what does it mean for us? Most likely, we're all going to start spending more time on Zillow. Don't want to get deeper into that. That's as far as I'm going to go with that one. But here's a change in the forms real quick. Yeah.
I'm sorry. Can I ask one other thing too about it?
Is this about
Is-
Zillow?
Well,
If it's about
still
Zillow,
on-
guys, I'm just going to say I'm not answering anything else about Zillow now. I'm just letting you know office exclusive.
This is not about Zillow.
Okay, go ahead.
This is about, so you yourself said, I think yesterday on Wednesday, that our office, you're not getting all of the office exclusives being registered on MLS.
Yes.
And so my thought is, I'm wondering if there aren't plenty of agents, and I'm not saying our office, but other brokerages where they are office exclusive, but they also go in and put it on as coming soon on the MLS. Is that
No, you can't have
potentially-
by the rules, and that's what I was going to say right here.
I know by the rules, but
I know, but see what I have highlighted here? Or as MLS rules require. I know, guys, I'm a nerd when it comes to these forms, okay? But they added those 5 words about a version ago, 2 versions ago. Or as MLS, because they got tired of putting the rules in here and then having to change it every time. So that's why they say, or as MLS rules require, so that we have to go, well, what do the rules require? And so can someone have an office exclusive and a coming soon? No. Then they're violating the paperwork they actually have with the seller. Because the seller agrees to office exclusive, but they can't agree to office exclusive and coming soon. Coming soon is in the MLS. Office exclusive is not. That's what office exclusive means. It's not in the MLS. So let me move along here on what that means. When you are doing a listing, and if you're primarily a buyer agent, please hear me on this. You just need to be aware of how this plays out on the listing side. So what's happening is the listing agent is saying MLS marketing, seller authorizes, does not authorize to put the property in MLS. If you do, you know what to do. Seller does not. Okay. A is done. Now we go to B, third-party website. Seller authorizes, does not authorize broker marketing property through MLS or other means to make listing data available to third-party websites. So the other means, again, one more set of words they threw in here, knowing that people, because the other means before was, well, can I put it on Zillow? Can I put it on Trulia? The sites that had for sale by owners, then they allowed agents to put stuff. Can I do it? Yes, you can. So you would then check seller does authorize on B. Okay. And then C, if you're not going on the MLS, C is left. You don't check any of these boxes because in the event the seller has opted to market in the MLS, now you got to check boxes in C. If you're not going to the MLS, you're not checking boxes on C. This is, and I had to make some corrections before. Agents were saying, hey, we're not authorized, but yes, yes, yes on all this stuff to save me some time. If we ever get audited and this stuff's incorrect, that's when the fines start appearing. So this is why you fill it out properly. So as I was saying in the slide, what if they change their mind? Well, now we have to alter okay, let me go ahead and go through my thought. We have to alter the agreement. We now have to say, choose only one, exclusive right. Here's the information. What am I doing? I'm changing the terms of the listing agreement to what? other. This will now be treated as an office exclusive. This is so you don't have to come through and fill out a whole new paperwork. Okay? But let's say they're office exclusive. They're not office exclusive. They're coming soon, and now they want to go to office exclusive. And I talked with Bright MLS. I did not chat GPT this. I'm always going to say that to you guys. And they said, well, according to the rules, they would have to cancel that listing in Bright. Not withdraw, but cancel. And once they cancel, then they have to go through and add this paperwork. If you're already going to office exclusive, you would have already filled out the paperwork I'm about to show you. Okay? So,
Anthony, can you repeat in what circumstance would they have to cancel? I'm sorry, my brain did not catch it.
on the MLS, they're incoming soon.
Hmm.
And the seller says, you know what? I want to change my mind. I don't want to be incoming soon.
I see.
want to be
Thank
office
you.
exclusive.
Got it. Thank
And
you.
this is where obviously, this is where why all these forms kept changing is there was this pushback against Bright and all the associations. You're putting me under rules that I got to turn around and tell my seller, oh, you can't sell your house that way because my rules say this. So that's why they said, okay, our rules are overreaching. What do we do now? And they changed the rules. That's why they changed the rules, is to bring it back to the seller's the person in control. So now the seller says, you know what? It's going to take longer than I thought. I don't want to do continuing, but I don't want to do coming soon, but I want to keep having people see it. Now I got to change my listing agreement. I go back to the amendment. I change it back to office exclusive, and I add on these forms.
Mhm.
If I'm already an office exclusive, I have already added these forms, okay? I have the office exclusive form explaining to the consumer, do you realize you're having fewer feet in the house? And so therefore you run the risk of not selling for as much money. This is a true statement. Very true statement. And then I have the Bright MLS sellers and landlords list here. Before, let's say I had coming soon. I've got C. Well, now I got to cross this out with a red line and click D and get this all initialed off. And then I have my listing agreement amendment pre-listing marketing. I would submit to you, I think with every listing you take, whether it's going active immediately or whatever, we go ahead and get this thing signed off.
Absolutely.
Would you agree with that, Scott, or not? You're shaking no?
150%.
Yes?
Wait, so what are you saying? We should have this done with every listing?
I think we should.
There's no downside because it's just protective of you as the agent and the brokerage saying, hey, I have my seller has explicitly authorized me to market the house at my discretion, even before it gets into the MLS.
So I've been actually thinking about this. So if you're using this form and you have the seller authorize you to, use your social media or start sharing, maybe not necessarily ready for any showings or anything like that, but if somebody comes along and they're like, yes, what date are we putting in the listing agreement? Because now we have to have a date in there, right? Remember when you go back to the early paragraph, the term of the listing?
Mm-hmm.
Then what day are we putting as of today? Like when they're signing this form?
So what you have here, and that's a really good question. What do we have here? Okay, I'm getting in here.
Keep going. Yeah,
Next.
right there.
F.
Right here.
Next.
Oh.
No, you went too
No,
far.
go up.
Too far.
It's on the first page.
I was in the second.
Yeah,
All right, good.
top of
All
the
right,
second
so
page.
Right
agreement.
there.
Remember, the agreement is the paperwork.
Mhm.
That's what we're talking about in paragraph 4A. It's the paperwork. Agreement will run for the period
no,
commencing upon
just a
signature
little
by
down.
all parties.
Scroll to
I know,
the top
but
of
I'm
page
saying
2.
4A is the paperwork. 4B
Right
is
there,
the
yeah.
listing. So again, what we're trying to deal with here, everyone, is a fluidity between the paperwork and when we're going to eventually show up on the MLS. That's what we're trying to deal with here. And what paperwork, when do I crisscross back and forth which one I've got to sign when, and what do I do when they change their mind or anything like that? You'd think, and most sellers don't change their mind. I want to go coming soon and go active. That's where most of them are. Actually, most are, let's go active. The next one is let's do coming soon and then active. And the third is office exclusive, which is very few. So we're not talking about a lot, but when it comes up, you need to know. So your date here, it shall go into effect on or before. Learn. Learn is covering coming soon. Tour is when it goes active. Okay.
So does it, Anthony, does
So
it
here,
cover-
I think you put the date about learning before, and just put the date of when do they want it to happen?
Right. So typically I would follow with either the date is either the coming soon or the active date if they
Yeah.
don't want to do coming soon. But if we're having this one page thing that you showed us earlier, sign their permission to start advertising, should we be putting that day? So if there's, let's say I'm meeting with somebody today, today is what, the 20th?
Yeah.
Today is the 20th. They're signing this paperwork. Should I be putting the following day? Because now I can start blabbing to everybody and
Right.
posting on my social media.
You can. Now,
Okay.
here's the thing. When this was about,
For everything.
I got to have this within 2 days of the starting of the listing term, or as MLS rules require. What do MLS rules require that's not in this paragraph? As the seller instructs. Back to this form, seller instructed me. Okay, Scott?
Just, you made the point right there, but
Oh, yeah.
the could you scroll back to paragraph B we just had, or not scroll back? So it says, or as MLS rules require. So MLS rules say you put it into the MLS in some status, office exclusive, coming soon, or active within 2 days of a buyer potentially learning of the property, or as seller directs.
Right.
So-
and let me just pause real quick. That seller directs language is not in this paragraph. It's in the MLS rules. That's what I'm saying, guys. They're trying to cover it so they're not having to keep changing this thing all the time. The MLS rules require or allow me to follow my seller's instructions. Go ahead, Scott.
No, I just think that given that language, that I suggest the practice that I use is whenever I think I may start talking about the property to agents, whatever, that's the start of the listing term. And then the question becomes, do you put it in office exclusive for a period of time before you're ready to do coming
Right.
soon or active? And this isn't a discussion for today, but as we find out more about Zillow Preview, office exclusive that's blasted out to Zillow, depending upon how it shows in their search results, basically gives you coming soon, but you can show the property,
Yeah.
which is from a marketing tool is a very interesting new opportunity for us to consider.
Yeah. And we don't know how this is all going to pan out. Will coming soon still be there? Possibly. I could see where coming soon gives me a protection of saying no more tours until we're ready to go active.
Right.
Because if you have it in office exclusive, what do the rules require? If some agent asks about it, I got to let them in. See, I don't have the protection of no one can see it except for me and the sellers if I'm in coming soon. And so maybe you have office exclusive. We got no offers. We got no inquiries. Oops, our price is wrong or our condition's wrong. Okay, now let's go coming soon. Boom. At Bright, I was at 675, and then coming soon, it's at 650 because I realized I got no dings at 675 on Zillow. Okay. Or in all my marketing, no one wanted to see it. No one was asking to see it. I tested my price. It didn't work. Coming soon, I'm settling down in my price now.
Will there be a record of that on the Zillow website that it was originally 675 and now 650?
My understanding is that
Able
in
to
the
hide it.
agent portal where you are putting your information, you can hide that information. Thank you, Laura. She remembered that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can hide that. And I probably would. Right? So
Anthony.
kind of, yeah, go ahead, Gary.
All right. So if you have a listing and it says coming soon, and you're a different agency, you're with Long and Foster or somebody, I should probably call that person and say, is it office exclusive or is it coming soon? Should I ask that question?
You
should we
can,
tell?
because that kind of brings us to the next slide, which I'll just slip in and out of this next slide. Uneducated agents. Okay. I think that's one of the things we're running into out there, and that's what's causing some confusion, is agents think they know and they don't. And some agents may have it as an office exclusive and popped it in as a coming soon, and they violated the rules and they don't even know it. And
So
some, they know
I
it
have-
and they did it anyway. Yeah.
Anthony, I have an actually interesting example. If you may not want to screen this, but 8703 Etta in Springfield. I looked it up. We have an appointment this Sunday, I think, to go see it. It's coming soon. It's all blocked off. In the middle of the block off, there's an approved appointment. That
Huh.
appointment happens, and 2 or 3 hours later, it's under contract.
Yeah. That would be, I think, a reportable event.
That's a bullseye button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That,
So
that's a reportable event. I would report that and say, this is what happened.
And I don't like policing other people. However,
Me, I hate it. I'm like, I'm
However-
so tired of having to make you follow the rules.
Before I report it, should I call and ask if it's an office exclusive?
No, they're gonna lie about it.
Not.
Don't even bother.
If they have the coming soon,
Don't bother.
if they have it in coming soon, that it technically is not an office exclusive. All right. So here's how you report it. Here we go. It's this bullseye right here.
Yeah.
All right. I would click that.
Yep.
Here you go. What is it? Inaccurate listing information or data, whatever it would be. Misrepresentations of showings. While this was supposedly under coming soon, it appears that the agent allowed people to see the property. My buyer was not allowed to see it, and it was under contract once it went active. And you submit that to them. And this is a anonymous report. And then they take it very seriously and they start emailing the broker and they start emailing the agent. What did you do?
I would strongly suggest, Gary, that you do report. Yet I have done that in the past, and
Yeah.
I got just like, oh no, they've done what they needed. It was. I don't
It's
know how
possible.
serious
Well,
they are.
So it depends on what the alleged violation is. If it's got rooms wrong or things like that, how this process works is they will Bright Policy and Accuracy will email the listing agent and say, it's come to our attention X. You've got 48 hours to change this or tell us why it's accurate. So in that situation, if the listing agent changes square footage or something that's inaccurate, what Bright will respond back with is it to the person that submitted it. This is what happened. For something like Gary's talking about, that's a pretty bright line. There's no.
That's what I reported once. Because
Really?
I was waiting
Wow.
to show it to my client, and it was within the last year. I was waiting to show it to my client, and of course we couldn't see it, and it went pending, went in coming soon, and I actually called the agent, got reprimanded for she didn't want to take the time to explain it to me. And I was like, I was pissed. I'm sorry. I was really upset about it. So I did report her. And of course, Bright MLS sent me an email a few weeks later or whatever that she was not violating anything. So she came up with some sort of a reason of what happened, and whatever story they gave him, you're not part of that. So yes, do report it, because I keep seeing this happening all the time.
Yeah.
And maybe if you have multiple offenses, maybe then they start fining you. But it did not work for me, and let's put it this way. But please do report it, because agents going to continue to do that if they're not.
Well,
I think
it's
the
even more
active.
important now.
Go ahead.
I think, just let me finish this thought. I think it's even more important now, as we've now entered a phase where office exclusive is, is going to be more prominently used now that you have these ability to broadcast that to the public via, the relationships that various brokerages have. And there's going to be a lot of misuse, whether it's intentional or, out of ignorance. And so I think if we see something that's done wrong, that's important because we'll see more of this happening without
Yeah.
question.
All right. Well, that's all about I got for the day. And this will be posted on, I don't know if this will be on the YouTube channel because we've talked about some proprietary information, but we do have a Google folder where we post these types of videos for coming back to it. But obviously call me if you have any questions or anything like that in the future.
Hey, Anthony, I've got a question about talking about showing during office exclusive. I think I know the answer to this, but I want to see if your thinking is the same. So when we have it's active and somebody requests a showing on showing time, for example, it's like, okay, this is open, you schedule it, unless there's something significantly wrong, you're going to let them see it at that time. When it's an office exclusive and somebody asks for a showing, you say, you know what, that day doesn't work for my client because of whatever. I think you have more flexibility, at least my understanding, with the office exclusive to say, no, we're going to do any showings, 3 days from now, rather than,
funnel it into
really
one area. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the rules say is that you can't stand in the way of showing it. You can't, in essence, what I read is you can't say no. But what you can do is filter them down into one block. Say, hey, that's great. Come on by Saturday between 12 and 2. Well, that doesn't work for my clients. Say, well, I'm sorry, that's when the seller has it available. So I've given them an option to come between 12 and 2 on Saturday. And if they don't want to do that, then that's up to them.
Anthony,
and I haven't done anything wrong.
Anthony, another question. I have a property right now. The client decided to rip up carpeting and redo floors. So I
Right.
temporarily off market the
Yeah.
property so they can do it because I don't want people going through there. A guy called and said, I really want to show the property. It's not quite ready to go back on, but it's serviceable. So I agreed. I said, go in. He's going in this afternoon. This morning, I put it back on market. Did I do that properly, or could he see it temporarily off?
Technically, you're not supposed to do that in temporarily off. Temporarily off pauses all showings. But
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Sometimes it's a unique situation. My people are into town today. They're leaving in the morning. If it's already been out there, it's not like you went coming soon, then temporarily off, and no one's ever been able to see it.
Yeah.
But that would be, that'd be, if you got complained about, what would Bright say?
So I put it back active again. So
Yeah.
it is active. So
Yeah, that's fine.
all right.
All right. Okay, folks.
Okay,
Thanks for coming out.
welcome.